So welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
This is Conversations with the Crawleys. And yes, we are live right now. And I know we kind of caught y'all off guard, having some technical issues. So we're like, look, we're just going to go ahead and get this recap in.
Go ahead and get it done.
If y'all on and join in and what have you, make sure you're sharing, make sure you're subscribing. All that stuff we normally say.
Yep.
Just do it.
Just do it.
And if you catch it on the replay, just do it.
Just do it. And shout out to our daughter. Our oldest turned 24 today.
Yep, she's in her Kobe year.
Yep, she's in her Kobe year. So
some of y'all caught that, yeah.
Shout out to Marcia. And she will be a law student this coming fall. Yep. So we are excited for her. Got to put her in shout out
just
on the channel.
Just a little bit.
So I hope she's going to take care of us when we get old.
Okay.
All right.
All right, but look, as you're coming in, okay. Just let us know you're here. Make sure you're sharing. But we wanted to, again, just do the recap for this one because this one was a little crazy.
They had crazy stories.
They had crazy stories, yes. Lots of stuff that I was like, y'all.
Oh, you mean you red flags? Red flags popping up?
Red flags, red boulders.
Red boulders.
Red with everything was just all over. Hey, Michelle, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. All right, so let's just kind of jump into it. The ladies had the ladies lounge, and Tommy's like, all right, y'all assignment this week, introduce them to your ex. Introduce your ex to your next, and let's see how that looks.
Okay, and we know how it looks. So, but before we do that, Jeffrey felt it necessary to pull Tommy to the side.
Tom, can we talk? Tommy, I need to talk to you.
I was like, okay, so what does she have to say? You know, because she felt like it was necessary to explain why she's not going to do the assignment.
And her story is that she's been in basically just two long-term relationships. One that was like 12 years from, I guess, high school until they separated and father of her first child. And then she dated around here and there, but nothing serious, nothing that anybody knows too much. And then her next one was the one that she gifted his first child to him. I'm using her terminology.
Yes.
She gifted her first child to him. And then he was like, yeah, I can't deal with this. It's too stressful for me and my job. I don't want nothing to do with y'all.
Right. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you because you saw it twice and I only got opportunity to look at the episode once. I was like, what does that have to do with her introducing to the other guy?
Not a doggone thing.
I was like, are we missing something? You know, maybe she should give a little bit more details because I feel like I'm not hearing something like, was these people abusive to her?
Right.
or did they are they out of her life because there's a restraining order? Just kind of
right.
Say, I got a restraining order.
It don't make sense.
I got a restraining order, so they can't be 90 feet from me. So they're not going to be coming.
Yeah.
So I would rather it make a little bit more sense. But Tommy's like, okay, if you feel like you can't do the assignment,
if you want to be special and not do what every other person has done at this point in the process, go right ahead.
So, but he says you are going to have to talk to him and explain to him why you decided not to do this assignment. Because Tommy's like, they're going to gain knowledge from your ex.
Yep.
Maybe something you're not saying.
Yep.
Maybe something based off of the relationship or why they're not a part of it. If it's strictly because there's a child involved, at least they can get it.
Exactly.
From the other party.
Right.
So she said, I can tell them why. I'll let them know.
She's like, I can make up something to tell them why.
So we're like, okay, off we go. So we had the first meeting.
Was Morgan with her ex Junior, Lyndon, and Tony.
And then arrives first.
Right.
And he's dapping it up. All right, let's see how it goes.
Exactly, Michelle. Yeah, I think they might have gotten tired of that baby voice. Because
that episode, I was like, the voice,
baby voice
was just like, yeah, it's not work. It doesn't work with me, obviously. I know maybe it worked for some men. It wasn't working for me.
It don't work for me. I'm sorry.
I was just like,
I'm not attracted to babies, so I don't want a baby voice.
I'm not attracted.
That doesn't do anything. Like, okay, who was the Michelle A, right? You all remember the singer Michelle A. She had a full-throated voice when she sang, but for whatever reason, when she talked, she had that baby voice. It was annoying to watch her interviews. Amazing singer, amazing talent, but her interviews,
sing.
just sing throughout your entire interview. I don't need to hear you talking.
I was just like, okay, because it gets worse, but I was just like,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
So the ex Junior, he seems pretty cool.
He seemed pretty cool. Like, he's like, okay, I can meet him. Let me figure out what they got going on.
Let's go with it.
Let's go.
So he asks Lyndon, what do you like? Oh, man. Everything. I mean, just look at her. Everything.
Okay. So Is this a superficial relationship? Because that's where I was kind of landing, because Junior was saying that that he really didn't, they were kind of just messing around.
Right. Yeah. So then Tony shows up.
Yeah, and like trying to size him up while you sit down, talking about, he's shorter.
He's short.
I was like, what? How you get
I'm
that?
impressed. Dude, Tony, man, listen.
Everybody ain't checking for.
I get what you're saying, but the goal was not to be impressed by who she used to date.
Right.
Because if you were impressed by who she used to date,
that's the problem.
That's the problem too. I don't know. But now, in Tony's defense, though, when Junior asked the question of what do you like about Morgan, Tony was like, the physical, yes, but she also reconnects spiritually. So he gave something more to say. It's more not, there's something there that he could run down what he was attracted to. Correct. Linda was just like, look at her, everything. Yeah. That's not a good answer, bro.
No,
that's not an answer.
It's not a good answer.
Because here's the thing. In a relationship, we've said this. Okay. There's going to be some stuff that you like about the person you're with. Some things and there's some things you don't like. Mm-hmm. And the sooner you identify that, the more you can get to the depth of whether this is going to be a relationship that's going to work or not.
Mm-hmm. Or long-term relationship.
Or long-term, right? Mm-hmm. Because, if there was stuff, I was attracted to you from the beginning. Mm-hmm. There was some stuff I was like, okay. But it wasn't deal breakers, right? But I at least had an idea of these are the things I like about Tarsha. Mm-hmm. These are the things that I don't particularly care for. But they're not deal breakers. We can keep going.
Yeah, all my questions came after we got married. That's too late.
You were just infatuated.
Oh, yeah, I was just really infatuated.
He was infatuated with her brother. So,
whatever.
So they're talking, and we find out that Morgan is like, she was just trying to keep it funky. Supposedly. Junior was like, I want a little more.
Exactly. But Junior decides he wanted to tell a story. about their experience.
And this again is the advantage of why you have the exes coming around, because this is where you find out just how crazy somebody might be.
So Junior he's like, yeah, but I need to tell you this story because there's some stories between me and Morgan. And he was just like, yeah, one morning I was getting up and I was like in my hair and I was washing my hair. And before I knew it, you know, all my hair was in my hands. And before I knew it, everything, all my hair started to fall out. And so Tony's like looking at Junior like, what? How's this story got to do with
male pattern baldness hitting you all of a sudden quickly? What happened?
And then they had to kind of like fill him in, man. She used Nair on the dude's head and made him bald. So Tony's like, oh, that spiritual thing might have to be out of the door, because he was like, I think he was like dumbfounded about the whole situation. And let it looking like, what is going on?
That's a whole other level of crazy.
What is
that is just completely out of pocket. I'm sorry.
Now, Tony, the way it's interesting how Tony interpreted. He's like, so she wasn't communicating that she also wanted a serious relationship and acted out. It's pretty much what he kind of summed it up to be.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I get you're getting that, but I would think her extent of removing a guy's hair from his head.
Okay.
I feel like that's a little over the top. Y'all tell me.
So yeah, y'all let us know, because
I think that's I mean, if someone makes you mad or they're cheating, because he said he wasn't cheating, but obviously something happened, made her mad. She decided to make this man bald, at least for a couple weeks until his hair could grow back. Because his hair was long.
Yeah, I mean, his hair, you couldn't tell. It's not like it happened last week.
Right.
But still, I'm sorry.
He still can talk to her. He came to the meeting.
Yeah. So.
Or he's scared. He like,
either he's scared or
she might do something else to me.
Or it's golden. And he's trying to have some more gold.
I wouldn't do that.
I'm not.
It not worth
you
it.
put Nair on me, and I'm not trying to. No, I'm not showing up on anything you got to do.
No,
in fact, if your family call me or invite me to the family reunion, I'm gonna say no, because if she's crazy and you're good with her, all of y'all must be crazy. Because I'm sorry, that's just completely out of pocket. That's ridiculous. That is doing way too much.
Way too much.
Way too much.
It's way too much.
And that's just. I'm sorry. I would walk away from that relationship, period. If I'm Tony or if I'm Lyndon, for me, it's off the table now. Because if that's what you're going to do, and you're sitting here laughing, joking, haha, kikiing, and he pushed me to that, what else will you do if something else doesn't go the way you want it to happen? Right? We joke about, who is it? Jasmine Sullivan had the song, I bust the windows out your car. Yeah, but if I went out, whether we were serious or not, if I cheated, I understand you're angry.
Right.
I get that. But that's a level that I don't. No, that's a whole other level. Nah. But y'all let us know. Am I off base, or is Morgan just? I'm gonna say it.
Have y'all done something worse?
Yeah. I'm looking at y'all.
Everybody at the table start checking their food.
This is the place where you can start making your confession. Confessions. These are my confessions.
This is crazy.
But needless to say, so yeah, that was pretty much that as far as that date.
Oh, and you remember Morgan was like, yeah, I'm looking at Tony different after this stage.
Yeah.
I was like, what did Tony do?
Tony should be the one like, oh, producers, I'm looking at Morgan differently.
Right.
How are you?
I was interesting. It was interesting that she said that at the end of that date, that she felt different.
Yeah.
About Tony.
So now, again, and so the last episode, Morgan went off on Blake, which I actually y'all was wrong. Y'all thought she went a little too far. But now with this, I'm like, Morgan.
Don't be talking about me.
Morgan. You cute and all.
Ooh, boy.
Craziness does not excuse, or cuteness does not excuse craziness. It doesn't override crazy. Sorry. All right. So then Cynthia meets with her, the father of her children, James, aka 3 Chains. I'm gonna call that dude 3 Chains. Come in, look like 2 Chains.
He's 3 Chains. he was wearing them too.
He was wearing them chains.
He was wearing them chains. He was ready for that.
Like Mr. T, younger cousin. So she's meeting him and having him meet with Andre and Anthony, which are her 2.
What?
So okay, so then Andre comes in, and James. Well, first of all, Cynthia's like, I want you to ask them the questions. You know, can it be around your kids? Which that's what we would hope that Jeffrey would do, but
yeah, we don't.
At least for the one that was not long ago, right? But he's like, okay, I can do that.
He's like, oh yeah, I'm ready.
Andre comes in, and 3 Chains is like, you talking about the homeboy with the shag?
That's who you dating?
You shag, bro? Shaggy?
He's like, all right, bring him on, because I'm about to put it on, roast them well, both sides. So he goes in on them.
Oh, he goes in.
He's like, I want to know about them relationships, long term, short term.
Well, he first starts, what do you like about her? He's like, oh, she's a strong woman. And James was like, how you know she ain't playing? How you know she ain't lying? Oh, well, yeah. I don't know, but I'm trying to find out. Okay. Then he goes into, what was the next question? It was basically about your relationships, right? He's like, well, I'm successful.
Because he's like 3 or 4. I had 3 or 4 long-term relationships, and then he's like, okay, let's talk about the one night stands. He's like, let's talk about short-term relationships.
You mean flings? He's like, okay, if they were flings, well, yeah, I consider anything that's short-term fling. Okay.
What
about them? Because you're 39 without any kids, so
what's going on with that? And he was like, well, I never had the right person to start a family with. So he's like, okay, so
why?
Well,
I've been on Forbes. I ain't asking you about that.
I'm an successful entrepreneur. He's like,
I could care less.
I take care of my kids. I ain't asking you to provide for my kids. I'm asking you how you're going to treat this woman different, because in this one, where James, or 3 Chains, as you're calling
3 Chains,
as you're calling him, he was like, I messed up. She was innocent.
Yeah.
She didn't do anything wrong. I messed up.
Yep.
So I feel like, he might still be feeling her or whatever, but he want to make sure the next person come along don't treat her the same way he did.
Because in all honesty, I would say that I would, and we don't know all their relationship, right? We don't know how, but I would hope, just our kids are grown, so this ain't, but I would hope that if that would have happened to me, where it was with somebody, didn't work out, we could at least stay friends,
right?
Or at least be friendly or cordial, if that at a minimum, right? And friends, it sounds like he's trying, that they're still cordial,
right? Because still got kids.
Yeah.
So
sometimes that doesn't mean anything, but yeah, that's
true. But in this case, she was like, I need you to come meet him, because I know you're gonna really ask the question that needs to be asked.
Yep.
So as Andre is getting,
getting grilled
over the fire, getting turned over the fire, then that's when Anthony
pops up.
And Anthony's like, dang, I feel the heat off of this fire.
Anthony, like, look,
coming in strong.
I feel like I stepped into an emergency war room, because it was like, dude,
it's like, where's the IV? Get the pedals for this one,
because he might have needed it for Andre, because Andre was getting knocked out left and right.
And so Anthony kind of inserted himself like on the next question.
Yep.
And he's like, all right, this can't all be about this dude. Like,
right.
And so, he's like, okay, I asked you the same questions and stuff. And he was pretty much being upfront.
He pretty much handled the questions a lot better, not confrontational or jumping back. Because here's the thing, even though what's his name jumped at him, and I agree, yes, the fact that Andre doesn't have kids all over the place definitely good. Was 3 Chainz a little over the top? Absolutely. I think that Anthony did handle that conversation a lot better. He kind of worked to try and diffuse it, I think.
Right. Bring it down a couple of
because
breeze.
it was kept going up.
Right.
But then even as Anthony is handling it, this is why James was a little over the top. 3 Chainz was a little over the top, because even as Anthony's answering, he's basically like, yeah, I hear you, but I don't believe you. Okay, so you just gonna take that attitude with everybody. Cool. No matter who comes to the table, you're gonna have that attitude. Gotcha. Okay. So Andre, of course, is still going on about how he was on Forbes. Like, I could care less. Then Andre is like, look, I gotta go. Cool. Go. You running. Because Jay's like, look at him, he's running off. He's scurrying. So, but Anthony tries to again have the conversation. James not fully believing, but it comes to the point where Anthony's got to leave.
Right. Well, and Anthony's like, you know what? He probably like, I'm pretty much done too. I got someplace to be. And then he was like, oh, so you're running? And Anthony like, no, I got somewhere to go. You know, man, I can't stay any longer.
I do, you know, I may not have been in Forbes, but I still have some things I need to do.
But he tells him he understands you are the father of her kids. So I get that you're not 100% on me. And that's cool. And by the way, while I'm leaving, Cynthia, can you make sure he get my number? And you can call me anytime you want, and we can finish chopping it up if you really want to chop it up with me.
Because he did drop a line. He's like, look, it was a whole bar. He's like, I ain't going nowhere. He basically was like, look, I don't plan anyone going anywhere. I don't plan on not, you know, doing anything. Just go ahead. You can have this beef. Because he also says, look, if you didn't have an issue with me, I'd look at you suspicious. Anthony was like, if 3 Chainz, you don't look at me suspiciously, I'd have an issue, because I would expect you. If you're going to potentially be around my child or my children, I am going to investigate you. I am going to figure out who you are. And if you're not willing to do that, that tells me maybe where you are as far as just your character and things. So
So I think overall, you know, he was talking to her afterwards, and he was like, I don't like neither one of them. And it
might have been the jealousy.
And he was like, you need to pick, you know, like which one. And he pretty much was like, well, I know Andrew was talking more about the Forbes and not really answering my question. And Anthony was kind of more answering the questions. So I know Cynthia has a lot to think about, you know, but I think at the end of the day, she'll pick what she wants more than her ex and trying to move forward.
And then on the other side of town, Jeffrey goes with, or she meets up with Blue and Mark Anthony. And as we mentioned earlier, her ex or two of her exes, neither of her exes are showing up. No one's showing up because she's saying that basically they don't know enough about her to bring them into the situation, or they're not in her life, what have you. Mark Anthony's like, okay. Blue is like, I don't know if she's just trying to draw a picture or if these are excuses, because it really doesn't, in my opinion, make sense. You have no one that you've dated that, I'm not saying you have to be buddy friends with, but nobody that you had a relationship with for any period of time that you can call and say, hey, I'm dating some other people. I have someone that wants to at least just have a conversation, get your perspective on who I am as a person, and have that conversation. After this, we don't have to talk again. We don't have to see each other ever again. Would you mind showing up? But if that's not, if you don't have anyone like that, that's a red flag to me.
Well, and if you're not fully explaining, like we said earlier, if there's more to it where maybe there has been some type of physical, verbal abuse, and there's like, you know, this person was a stalker, or
it was just fully toxic.
Then I think if she would paint it a little more of that picture, to them,
Mhm.
then there would be a clear understanding of why that person is not there.
Or even as we were talking about when we were watching it, maybe he's a sports figure, right? Maybe he's a celebrity and doesn't want to have this part of his life aired. Cool. All you have to say, Jeffrey, if that's the case, is the father of my children does not want this side of his life.
Part of this life
right.
shared.
Cool. Then at least we know you at least were open to having that conversation, willing to make the effort. And if that person, because you can't, Oprah, as great as she is, she's not, her and Will Packer can't force someone to be on the show.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So if that's the case, just say that that's the case and that's the end of it. So,
well, and y'all tell me how you feel about, she makes this statement that for her children to have that family, that full picture of a family, she lets them watch movies. She's like, and I'm just 100% mom, and for them to have that fullness of a family, or I'm assuming she's getting at having that male figure, they watch movies.
I think what she was trying to communicate in her adolescent voice is that she's trying to at least present the picture of what a family looked like, in spite of the fact that right now she's not presenting that or exhibiting that. As far as when we're talking about a father and mother in the same household, she's not able to present that in real life. She's showing movies and things of that nature. I think that.
Okay. I mean, like,
yeah.
Okay. I would have rather her say, like, my kids are involved in the Boys and Girl Club. Like, I'd rather they say they got Big Brother. Like they're in the Big Brother program.
Right.
I rather, because saying the first thing that come in your mind is that I make sure they see movies, like watching Disney, like, to me, I would want, again, I feel like she's not communicating well.
What kind of movies are they? Is it Tyler Perry movies?
Right. If you're going to make that statement, because they're glaring at you about, you're saying that, yeah, you're a single mother, and they're looking for more from you. Like, these men are not in any part of your child's life. And then, but you can't communicate how you, I guess, foster relationships.
How you, so for Blue and for Mark Anthony, they don't get the opportunity, and granted, yes, in a normal dating process, you don't always get this, right? But for this process and the way the process is set up, they don't get the opportunity to say, hey, I'm considering you and I'm considering so-and-so. I know how this person is in a dating relationship. These are their strengths, these are their weaknesses. Right. This is how they put Nair in my hair. Do you put Nair in the hair? Right? So they can ask these questions. They don't have the opportunity with Jeffrey. They're just, as Blue said, they're going off of the picture that she's making up.
Correct. So, I mean, that's all they can do. They say, I appreciate you sharing and having this set up so that we can hear your perspective. And that's how Mark Anthony and Blue, like, I'm looking at you suspicious. I'm side-eyeing you, girl, because I don't know what you got going on, because I don't have anybody else to represent you but you.
And you bring in your representative every week. So yeah. So Suanne meets up with her ex, Paul, I think is his name.
Paul.
But with Anthony and Blake. And Blake, and as some of y'all call him, I think the nickname I've seen for him from y'all is Eraserhead.
Eraserhead.
Yeah, y'all coming up with some nicknames for folks. Blake says that Anthony will provide the comedic relief for the conversation.
Okay. So he has a dry humor? Is that where...
He just dry. He just dry.
Like Popeye's biscuit dry?
Like, yes.
Popeye biscuit dry.
Popeye biscuit dry. That's what Popeye biscuit, because his conversation is dry.
Oh my God. And he tries to make a statement. What was the question? So Paul asks a question about, I guess, mixing families.
Yeah. Yes, because Blake has 4 kids, I think.
I believe
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and he just goes off and just starts putting adjectives and words and letters together. And it was just like, you're not making any sense, but okay.
I don't know if Blake heard or understood what he was trying to say. Because again, it was like he was just saying stuff to be saying it, but it just didn't make sense. You know, it was almost like, I'm not going to, pretty much, if I had to interpret Blake, it was like, I'm not bending my family to fit in with your family. Either we're going to fit and we'll work out, or we're not going to fit.
Yeah.
And we won't work out.
We'll see. So,
but Anthony, on the other hand,
because I think Anthony was, did he say he was the youngest of 10 or the oldest of 10? I can't remember.
I think he was like the youngest.
Okay. So Anthony talks about family. Anthony talks about what he's bringing to the table. The ex also asked, this was the other thing. The ex also asked Blake, tell me how your last relationship ended.
He does that all the time.
Blake was like, what do you mean? That's a general question.
Can you be more specific?
How did the relationship end?
Like specifically, can you tell me a little bit more what you want me to, how you want me to answer?
How did the relationship end? I don't understand. I'm like, how much more do you want? It's not like, yeah. So yeah, thank you, Michelle. He was oldest of 10. Oldest of 10. I knew it was something of 10. Yeah, Jeffrey's picker's off. Yeah, Jeffrey's picker's off, but
I don't know if Jeffrey has a picker. I think she picks everyone at some point.
And that's the other thing. Yeah, because let me just say this about that. Because yeah, I know we're going back, but that was the other thing, is that if all of your relationships are ending in the same way, the only thing that is consistent is you. So Jeffrey, if both of your relationships have done that, and you don't have any relationships that you can point to and say it didn't work out, we can at least have a quick conversation, or I can at least call them up and say, hey, if none of that is the case, to me, that tells me that there's more problem with Jeffrey than there is with the men. And I'm not letting the men completely off the hook, because we don't know everything, because I don't know. I just couldn't imagine not being in my kid's life. So I'll fault them for that.
Yeah.
But then the question is, what is it that, yes, with her picker, is she just picking toxic things because that's what she's attracted to? Or is there something going on with Jeffrey as well, that these men may be, and then just saying, I can't deal with that?
But you chose to have children,
or gift children to them.
Yeah, that's what she did.
That's what she said. So back to Suanne and Blake. And Blake trying to figure out the question of how did his relationship end.
I don't think he ever answered.
I don't think he did either.
Y'all let us know. Did he answer?
I can't. Yeah, I was just done with him. I
don't think he answered.
So needless to say, as far as when everything ends up, Paul, which is Suanne's ex, is feeling, he's like, I'm leaning more towards Anthony. He's like, Blake is more like I was, and that's why you didn't work out. Right, 20 years ago, and that's why we didn't work out.
Right.
Oh, the other thing we didn't mention, Suanne. So we've seen Suanne. We know she's an attorney.
Yeah.
We saw there's a video circulating around with Suanne, and it's not highlighting her, but she's working with, I think, Ben Crump, who handles a lot of the civil rights cases. And she is on the one, I think the one where the young lady, if y'all remember the story, where the young lady got beat up and killed by her friends in Mexico. She's working with that family and attorney Ben Crump. So yeah, she's out there doing work.
She's out there doing work.
And yes, Blake is suspect.
Yes. Yeah. And I see it more in this episode than the past episodes, because I'm like, okay, it's going to show up sooner or later.
Long enough.
Look, I let people play out.
I've been saying Blake suspect for a long time.
I let it play out, but he really showed his colors. So I'm like, yeah,
I see your true colors shining through. So yeah.
So Anthony, he won another person over.
Anthony is the dark horse coming out of nowhere. Okay. He's like racking stuff up now. He's like, because remember, Anthony, for the first 3 episodes, you saw him in the background. just in the background. Now all of a sudden he's front and center with everybody.
Okay.
Marcia goes on a date with her ex Mark,
Mm-hmm.
but also with Blue and with Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And she gives Mark a heads up, like, look, ask some questions, dig into it. I want to know. So, long story short, there, Tony is doing Tony things. Tony's assertive. Tony's like, this is what I want. This is what I like. This is who I am. Blue is like,
Blue is Blue. He got a Blue demeanor.
he like, yeah, she cool.
Yes, she's one of two.
Is she number one or number two? She's number two of two, and the other person is two of two as well. Ain't no ones around here.
Ain't no ones around here.
Y'all ain't gonna catch me. Blue is like, y'all not gonna catch me on, well, he said I was the number one. No, he said I was number one. No, y'all both twos.
They're both twos.
Y'all neck and neck. Y'all both twos.
Right.
Y'all tied for second place.
And so it's like, you ain't giving me nothing to go off of.
Blue, like, you ain't getting nothing. It's not like I'm not giving it to you. I'm just, you're not getting it.
And she's like, Tony is giving me what I need to hear. Like, she wants to hear something. I think every person who's dating, they want to know where they are in the relationship.
Right.
Tell me something. Because how long do we have to date when you can really start sharing that you care or you're interested, you know, because at the end of the day, I need to know if I need to move on because we're only going to be friends or if you see anything more.
And I think Blue is like, well, I ain't getting it from you, so I ain't giving it to you. You ain't telling you got this other man here.
Right.
So I don't know where I stand. Am I your one or two or am I number four? Tell me.
Oh my gosh.
So the ex, after the guys leave, this is it. Talking to Blue would be exhausting. He doesn't say much. You have to pull out from him what woman wants that. He glides you off the show. Here's the thing. I think with Blue, I think Blue may not have been the right person for the show, just what I get from his demeanor. His demeanor strikes me as he's not going to necessarily be overly aggressive, but he's also not, he's more laid back. He's like, look, if this grows, it grows. He's not necessarily pushing to say, I gotta make a decision today.
Yeah, but you won't be pulling teeth either. Like, true. Because anytime you sit at a table with somebody and I'm starting the conversation, I'm waiting for you to respond, and then I gotta keep the conversation going all night. I might as well be home on the phone with my girlfriend.
But okay, let's. I'm maybe trying to be an advocate for Blue. You know, light skinned brothers that stick together. Right? Because who else was Blue's connections? He just had Jeffrey.
Yeah, Jeffrey
and Marcia, right?
That's it,
right?
Because everybody else is like, when I talk to you, you got to talk back.
So, in some respects, the only, in my opinion, the only real potential he had there is Marcia.
Marcia, that's it.
Because, bro, you dodged a bullet with Jeffrey.
So I mean,
like, who else was it that said he dodged a bullet?
I forgot.
DeMario.
Yeah, it was
DeMario. Was like, he dodged bullets. Yeah, Blue, you dodged a bullet with Jeffrey.
You know, so again, I understand where the woman's coming from, right?
You get that, yes.
And I get that you lay back, you know, you're reading rooms, you're trying to see who's there for you, and all those things. But you got to give me something. Smoke signals.
Yes, I agree. I'll give that. Yes.
Morse code.
You got to get something. So the ex is Marcia's ex is leaning more towards Anthony. Says, look, he was assertive. You at least know what he wants. The question he has though is because Anthony can be so assertive, will he consider your feelings and kind of how he delivers things to you and whether you or not how you may approach things? So that's the question to think to about.
And Marcia's like, can I put them together? I just want to make a man. Can I
have
just
the
make
chillness of Blue, but the knowing where you stand with Anthony? Yeah.
Right.
So, all right. So then Jeffrey has her date. We cover all the Mercedes. So Mercedes has a date with Mark Anthony, and then her ex Armand. Long story short, because they start kind of talk where they are, right?
Yeah.
Anthony's like, look, I have my stuff together. I'm good to go. Mark Anthony, still trying to figure life out.
Right. He's pretty much like, I got it. Because he made it seem like it's all about him being together for anything to work out.
Right.
And Anthony's like, okay, I got my career. I'm set who I am. And now
I'm looking for somebody to add it to what I've got.
And what can I pour into that other person? Yeah. So he was talking more about having that partnership.
Yep.
Where Mark Anthony was like, it's about discovering me. And once I know who I am, then I feel like I could be in that type of relationship.
Yep.
So at the end, the ex was like, Anthony is the front runner.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, really? Like, yeah, this brother got it together. Whoever gets him, it sounds like this man is about to be ready to get married.
Yeah. And if you're listen, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like. Help us get this out, because we're coming a little different today just because we had some technical difficulties, so we're doing it live. But make sure you hit that like button. Help other people know we're here talking about this right now, this moment, here, now. All right.
Appreciate
y'all. All right. So then the ex was feeling more Anthony.
Yeah.
Said Mark Anthony had to fake his confidence.
Right. I said, wow.
That's what he said.
That's what he did say that.
He said that.
He said it.
He was like, he faking it.
One's confident, one's faking confident. Okay.
So, and then Jeffrey goes on a date to Andre's apartment.
Right. Because I guess Andre couldn't meet with the other two guys. So he said he was doing something special.
Did she invite him?
I don't know, because it's interesting that Andre's saying, hey, I'm doing something nice for her and romantic because I won't be meeting the ex. So he's aware that he won't be meeting an ex. And so she comes in with this sad, supposedly, puppy dog eyes, and, he's the hero of the moment. And I was just like, I could hardly watch it. I was like, oh God, I feel like I'm about to vomit. It made me sick to myself. It just seems so phony to me. I'm just saying it.
Yeah. So there are Mercedes ex that I really like. He presented himself well. Anthony was mature. Mark Anthony was about self. I don't know if he would protect Mercedes' feelings. I think I agree. I think that of the exes, Mercedes ex seemed to have some of the other guys, I think most of the exes, with the exception of 3 Chainz, were decent, right?
Right.
He did come off like he's like, I'm gonna help you figure it out.
Yeah.
Move forward.
He was like a true friend.
Yeah.
But
Jeffrey, it was because I don't like the whole baby.
I need rescue.
I'm helpless.
I need someone to rescue me.
That don't work for me. I'm sorry.
Now, this is a person who she did say was her top.
Until he got COVID and went away and came back. So yes.
Because now that she could wrap her mind that he's back.
Because Mark Anthony was, oh my goodness, so Mark Anthony. Oh.
This is what I'm saying about the picker.
Oh, Blue is such a.
This is what I'm saying about the picker.
Oh, Blake is so.
So, he's trying to feed her, but the food's too hot. And he can only give her a bird size,
like a grain of rice at a time. So I was trying, again, I want to make sure that we, jokes, is laughs, is fun here. I wanted to make sure that it was nothing maybe because she did mention she has IBS, right?
Oh, I forgot.
So I was like, maybe I was thinking and saying, okay,
I forgot all about that.
Well, hold on, wait. I was like, could the bite size?
No, it's not the
trigger.
Bite size. It's the spiciness. Now, it didn't make jerk.
It could be this, right? It could be that, right? But the bite size,
not the size.
So it was like, I can't open my mouth wide enough to take more than 3 grains of rice. No, stop.
It just seemed a little bit over the top for me. I was just like,
I'm sorry, let me correct you. It was a little bit over the top. It was a lot of bit over the top.
Okay, so it's just not me feeling like this is really sappy. Like, I don't do. Now, if you're excited to see him, you were talking to him while he was off the show, and you're like, I'm so grateful for being, like it's so good that we have our own day together. You cook for me. I like any man who cooks, you get pointers in my book when you cook. So I'm like, okay, I know you can cook, and he cooked from, Caribbean, everything authentic, great. But it just felt like I was watching one of Tyler Perry's soap, like whatever shows he got going.
Like
it would fit into that.
Like if the Oval was worse.
Yes.
Because y'all know the Oval is bad.
Yes.
But
we're not judging if you watch the Oval.
If you watch the Oval,
I'm not judging
more
you.
proud to you.
I'm not judging you.
But let's just say if this is what the Oval, this is what took over. This is what the Oval. How can I put it?
How can you put
this is what
the worst
Jeffrey,
thing you ever see in the Oval?
In other words, they were like, if I have to choose between this and the Oval, we picking the Oval because that's trash.
The Oval is a Tyler Perry show,
right? That
comes on currently in BET.
Yes.
Okay, so that's kind of how I felt.
Yes.
And so since I couldn't watch that, I was just like, I can't watch this. Can't watch it. Is it over? Oh my God! And so they kiss, and that's her hero. That's her hero right there. She feels so comfortable with him, and all the adjectives she used, because she stated all these things now that she felt about him. So there we go. That's where they are. And in this conversation, she never got to the subject of why her ex, because now it's just a romantic dinner. They're out on, his patio and balcony, looking out.
They kiss.
Their kiss and
half her lipstick ends up on his face.
Yeah, and that was bright. That lipstick was looking bright on him. So he only gave her an 8, thinking like,
because I want to find out more and get to the 10.
All right, you go for it.
You go, boy.
Stop.
So, what do y'all think about that? Because we literally were like,
I was just like, it didn't, to me, it didn't seem genuine.
No.
But I could be wrong. That's my opinion. All right.
We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna leave it there.
Yeah, go to the next.
So that was pretty much it for the dates. So then they meet up in the lounge again, right? Exactly, Michelle. Yes. That's the word. It was just like, I mean, the whole again, the whole baby food. Give me 3 grains of rice. No, I'm sorry. That doesn't. As a man, for me, that's nothing that is like, oh yeah, that's sexy. No, that's not. You didn't think anything of it. You think they'll choose each other, but don't see it last.
They might.
I
was thinking the same thing.
Yes.
I think they're gonna choose each other.
And then by the end of by the reunion, Andre gonna have a different hairstyle, and
it's not.
Jeffrey's gonna talk in a different voice.
He's not gonna have a different hairstyle. It'd be longer.
He might have like 3 dreads over here, high top fade right here, like a kid and play here, and then a rat tail down the back. Watch. Y'all know we be doing hair. Jeffrey is too needy. Yes, we agree, Auntie Eva. She is too needy, but I think it's a fake needy.
Yeah.
I think it's her way of trying to seem helpless and have the man feel like he's her rescuer, her hero. Mm-hmm. And every man wants to be a hero. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. Every man wants to feel needed. Mm-hmm. But if it's coming off where it's just like you are completely and utter helpless, mm-hmm. for me, mm-hmm. I'm speaking for Kevin Crawley.
Okay.
That don't do nothing for me. that No, it does not. That was the question we had. Good question, but no, it does not have to do. I think it's IBS, so irritable bowel syndrome.
Yeah,
it doesn't have anything to do with that, as far as what I've researched and found.
Yeah,
if somebody,
it's more about the spice
and what happens on the inside once it gets down there.
Once it gets
down.
If
she has said, I can't eat that because of the spice, or give me just a little bit of this and not that. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah. But the fact that she's like, no, I can't open my mouth again. I can't open my mouth because I don't like taking big bites. Okay.
Said, but...
All right.
All right. We're gonna go ahead to.
All right. So, and then let's get to the lounge. So he's in the lounge with the ladies, and Tommy's like, "Okay, tell me about the dates. How did the dates go? Did your people meet people?" Everybody pretty much recaps what happened. We get to Morgan, and Morgan's like, "Yeah, Junior tried to tell a story," and Tommy's like, "What'd you do?"
And she keeps going on and on.
He's like, Morgan, what did you do?
And she tells him, and he's like, and all the women like, what?
Now the question is, which of the women got an idea? It's like, that might work next time. I don't think any of them did.
I don't think any of them did. But they were really shocked that Morgan did. But
were they shocked or they were like, dang, yeah, that fits. That's on brand.
I don't know. They seemed shocked when they first heard it. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Yes. So they're going around who they're not feeling. So at this point, everybody has somebody they're not feeling. And every one of the guys pretty much got a vote as far as who they weren't feeling. Just because at this point, most of the people they've got their top one or two, except for Blue, who has his two, not his two.
His two, right.
He has his two. So it is what it is. So long story short, basically, Blue goes on a date with Marcia. Blake goes on a date with Suanne. Suanne.
Well, and I just want to say that both of these men don't think they're going home. And I'm thinking both of y'all about to go home because they've both been on the bottom and Blake lives on the bottom.
But I think Blake has gotten like immune to it. It's like, I'm just going to be here because he worked out his deal with the producers. And the producers are like, we're going to keep you on as long as we can. So Blake is like, I'm just going to, I know I got to go on this date. I know the ladies' lounge just met like 5 minutes ago. So I'm just outside the lounge right now waiting for whoever I'm supposed to go on this date with. That's how he's probably approaching. It's like,
oh my God.
Ladies' lounge is on Thursday afternoon at 3:30. All right, 3:35. Where I got to be, folks. Okay.
Pretty much.
Blue, though, on the other hand, I don't think Blue read the room.
No.
Because if you look at everyone else that has connections, Blue is not the top of anyone's connection, right?
No.
The other person that could be, you could say that about is Lyndon, because Lyndon doesn't have, other than Morgan, Linda doesn't have any other connections that we've seen, right?
Correct.
So Blue should have been worried, in my opinion.
Yes.
So he didn't read the room to say why he's, so that's why he's not worried.
Right.
So with Blake's conversation with Suanne is basically like, look, the feedback is, she's like, I know we got this thing here, but the feedback is just, it's overwhelming.
She said, when we listen to people in the room about you, it's like acid. I was like, well, dang. I've never had anyone talk about anyone say when your name gets mentioned, it's like acid. And so, but he's still not phased.
And it probably could have been, like you said, Antoinette, it probably could have been or should have been a double elimination.
That's what I was thinking.
It probably could have been, should have been, and I don't know why it wasn't. Because
it's not like Blake is bringing up any more additional drama anymore.
But the only thing, again, the only Blake's strongest connection is Suanne.
And that's it.
So we're looking at who is strongest connections. That's why, yes, Blake is in there because all the other ladies are like, no, we're done with him. But that's why Suanne, he's sticking around because Suanne, that's the one.
Suanne got good skills advocating. You talking about she advocating?
Look, I'm gonna call Ben Crump. We're gonna do a press conference right outside this lounge.
I mean, she knows how to really keep a dude on a show. If we're saying it's just her, and so during these meetings, she coming up with all these points, like she got on her cell phone and why he needs to stay around.
So yeah,
because he should be gone.
He should have been gone a long time ago. Sorry, Blake. If you want to interview, we'd love to interview you. Just because I want to find out some things, but you should have been gone a long time ago, bro.
If you can get him to answer a question. Anyway,
that might be a long conversation. Never mind. So, all right.
But Blue, yeah, I think you're right. He should have read the room.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So and the main thing with Blue was that they don't know what it's like to be romantic with Blue, right? Because Blue has been very laid back, very nonchalant in many respects, and so the ladies can get a feel. For example, Morgan can get a feel, or Marcia, I should say, can get a feel of what it might be like with Tony, because Tony is pretty vocal about it, right? On the other side, though, with Blue has just kind of been like, he's there. Morgan scares me. She seems like she can be vindictive. Yes. I'm not sure why other ladies laugh when she told them about the Nair situation. Blake seems like it would be difficult in relationships. Absolutely. Agree 100% with that.
Exactly.
Morgan scares me. I'm from the south side of Chicago. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, Blue realizing, oh, I am going home. But Marcia tells him, like, look, dude, you weren't talking.
Yeah.
You ain't communicating.
Yeah.
And all these women are feeling like you are mysterious. So unfortunately,
you got to go.
You ain't ready to let.
So
Blue like, look, I ain't giving y'all nothing until y'all deserve it. None of your women's gonna get any more or any less from
I'm
you.
glad none of y'all was my number one.
Right?
So I'm out.
Wow.
Deuces.
Okay.
So next week.
Yes.
Now we know we still have the retreat episode coming up, right? What you say, low key? Morgan comes off as someone who has dealings with Tony outside the show. That's possible too. Also, why did she ask her ex how he felt about her if they're over? Do you think Cynthia's ex wants her back? I absolutely do think that Cynthia's ex wants her back. I think that's part of what was driving. Three chains. That was part of what was driving him to be as aggressive, in my opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion too, because I think when someone says she did nothing, it was all me, I think he don't want anybody else to be in that seat anymore. Like, I messed up, so I don't want anyone else to be there. But unfortunately, you gone, man. So stay in your spot, stay in your place.
Anthony said Marcia in her bikini outfit, she left with Blue. Listen, y'all leave Marcia alone. Y'all leave Marcia alone.
Look, in Miami, they make sure they show skin in Miami.
Good.
We've seen a lot of shows, right? And the women seem very confident in their body. That's how I'm gonna put it. But in Miami,
or in their tape, because Morgan had to be very confident with the tape that she had to keep the stuff together when she came into the lounge.
You see, she didn't move, right?
No, she was like,
even Tommy was like, please don't move. Tommy, like, I'm a married man.
Cameraman, stay right there.
I'm a married man.
Move.
So I'm gonna look like to the right of your head, because I don't know what you decided to wear in this lounge today. Wear them out there for them.
Listen,
because Tommy, like,
he's like,
look.
Remember, I'm nephew Tommy. I'm not with Tommy over here.
Right. Right. So, but next episode is the opposite, where the men are going to bring their best friend to the dates.
Yes.
And it seems like these best friends are like, they tripping on some of the answers that are coming, especially from Morgan.
Yes. Because I think Morgan is being, and I don't want to use the word exposed one for one, but I think her character and kind of her nature being exposed, how she handles things is being exposed a lot more, where it's like, but that crazy side, it ain't worth it.
That's what happens. You just look at the cute, and then you find out later you don't want to. Some women, you just don't want to have them.
True, but
you don't have enough insurance.
You seeing them signs. You seeing them signs. All right, so good question for predictions for the ending. Okay, let's do this since we live. Predictions for the ending. So, of what we have left, right? Because we're really close. I think that it's going to end up Morgan and Tony.
Really? You don't think Tony ain't scared? On the inside, Tony's scared of that.
I think Tony is scared, but I think that Tony's bravado, his ego, He's like, I can tame that wild horse. But
Tony gonna end up being bald. He gonna be looking like Fred Sanford. Tony gonna come on looking like Fred Sanford when she get done with him. Okay, I get it.
So I think because remember we still have, and the reason I say that also is because if y'all remember from the trailer, there's a clip that we haven't seen yet from the retreat. It sounds like where they're all kind of having dinner and didn't.
Yeah, Tony was there.
Tony's like, I'm kissing on her. How does that make you feel, Lynn? And I think that happens at the retreat, if I remember correctly, right? And so I don't think we've seen that portion yet. So that tells me that Tony still has a thing for her, right? Okay. Yes, he did look repulsed after it, but again, I think that Tony is going to at least go to the end with her. I think that yes, I don't think they'll be together long term. I think that at some point he will let her go. But I think she might be in the news. Listen.
She might be going to jail.
Listen.
Seeing her mug shot. Okay. She done gone
so
too far.
Morgan and Tony, I think.
I think I'm gonna see Mercedes and Anthony.
So yeah, because I think I'm trying to think who else. Because I think Mercedes. But it's between him and Mark Anthony, and I think Anthony is going to be her better one.
And her ex was like, he's better for you than Mark Anthony.
Yeah. I think Marcia will probably be the next lady to go.
Because she doesn't have as many connections.
Yeah.
Except for Anthony.
Here's the thing also. Because Anthony got choices now. Anthony got options now.
He does.
Not Tony, but Anthony, right? Yeah. And I may have been calling Tony Anthony before, but okay. Yeah, y'all was with me. But I think Anthony has options now.
He does.
Because he's got Suanne. Yes. He's got Cynthia. And he has Mercedes as option. And I think that of those, his best option, just as one that might work best, might either be Cynthia or Mercedes.
I haven't seen him with Cynthia like a one-on-one.
True.
But when him and Mercedes got together, I felt like he was at a place where he really wanted to bring her along because she felt uncomfortable. Like, I don't have any kids, and you have a child, different things like that. But I feel like he's that type of person who really wants to pour into someone else and have that partner that they can learn together. So that's why I'm leaning that way.
Okay.
I mean, again, it's just
so I think we're agreed that Anthony will probably be at the end.
Yes.
I think Anthony.
Yes.
As far as let's see, start this. The guys that I think will be at the end will be Anthony, Tony.
Who's your third one?
I think because I think sometimes it's 3 or 4. So I think Blake will be there just by default of being with Suanne. That's just
if Suanne lasts. But Suanne doesn't have anybody but Blake
and Anthony.
Gotcha.
But again, she has enough that I think she can stick around. So I think Blake and Suanne will probably end up at the end together. But before the film is dry on it, I think they'll be done.
Okay.
So I think Marcia is going to be gone soon.
Okay.
And then, as much as it pains me to say it, and as much as I'm looking at like,
so you think Jeffrey's not staying?
I think Jeffrey might stay because of Andre.
So you're giving Andre and Jeffrey, they're going to be at the end.
I think they're going to be at the end potentially because Jeffrey has maneuvered through a number of guys and stuck around and been here, right? So now she has Andre, and Andre is her solid choice, as far as what she's saying. She's his solid choice, all of that, right? So I think that they're sticking around because remember, ideally, I think it was 3 couples that they try to get to. They've had some seasons where it's 4 couples, right? And the way that their things are meshing right now, where Lyndon's going to be gone, because I don't think Lyndon has a strong enough relationship. I think Marcia is going to be gone soon.
And I agree with Auntie because she thinks that Tony should leave with Marcia. I think everyone should leave Morgan alone.
even Morgan.
Yes, until Morgan decides that she ain't getting revenge on dudes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
know.
I think so. I think from a logical standpoint, I think that Tony would be a better fit with Marcia.
I believe that.
But I think
Tony,
ego-wise, and Tony's ego and Tony,
yep.
I think Tony's going to stick with going towards Morgan.
I agree with that.
And that's why I think Marcia is probably going to be leaving soon.
I think Tony think he's going to pray spiritually and change Morgan, because right now all the spiritual connection, he's going to need a lot of spirit.
And he going to get confused about laying hands and trying to lay hands. Yes, Morgan is dangerous.
Yep.
Listen. So that's, I know we kind of jumped around 3 different corners to get to right around the street, but I think that, yeah, Jeffrey and Andre will probably make it to the end. I don't think that they'll work. As far as genuine connections,
I think Anthony can be a genuine connection on whoever he chooses.
Depending upon who he chooses, could be a very genuine connection.
Yeah.
I think he's ready.
Yeah,
he's probably the most ready on the guy's side.
Right. Now, Tony would be a second, because everything he's saying that he feels like he's prepared for marriage. I just don't know if Tony knows how to pick the right person for him, for himself.
I hear that.
So he would be my second person that say will be ready for marriage.
And then on the lady side, I think Cynthia is ready.
I think Cynthia is definitely ready.
I think Mercedes is, it's hard to say with Mercedes because we haven't seen a whole lot of her.
Yeah.
But I think Mercedes has the potential, depending upon who she's connected with.
Right.
Has potential also.
Because she's almost in that in-between phase. Like when she was with Mark Anthony, they were hot and steamy in that bar. I thought that was like, oh, they together.
Right.
You know, but then at the same time, when she was with Anthony, which is a more mature, settled guy, she knew how to be in that space too.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be her choice of deciding, am I ready to enter the next phase of my life?
Right.
Where I'm ready to settle down, you know, and do those things. Or me and Mark Anthony are going to ride in the sunset and get to the area where we creating our own type of relationship. Yeah. Meaning, like, is the relationship going to grow to long-term, possible marriage, kids, all that stuff? You see what I'm getting at?
No, I get what you're saying.
Okay.
I mean, I think we have individuals that are ready, but I don't know if those individuals on either side have the match that's going to be advantageous to move forward and have a true, genuine relationship that really goes forward.
We'll see. I mean, good surprises.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some surprises before in our viewing of Ready to Love, since we've been around since the beginning. Even though we just started doing reviews a couple of seasons ago. Yeah. I think that's it. But hey, look, we appreciate you all stopping by. Again, we did a little different just because we have some technical difficulties. Pray for our other computer because it needs prayer right now. And then we'll see you all next time. We probably got another review coming for, if you don't know, we also do Love and Marriage DC. So we'll have that out soon, as well as Married at First Sight. Y'all know Married at First Sight is a trip.
If you haven't started watching it, I'll pick it up. Yeah.
And then let us know what your thoughts are. You all have been commenting. We appreciate that. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. And we'll see you all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.
Yeah, so we'll let her know happy birthday. Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Loretta.